the town where the jazz is swinging high. It's the New Orleans Outsider with Chris Goff, my oh my. We may be outsiders, but our love for New Orleans is true. So come along as I share it all with you. Sights and sounds, food and drinks. We're here to take a ride with New Orleans Outsider as our guide.
And here are your hosts, Chris Goff, Peter Newkirch, and Justin Appleberry.
You know, I haven't been to a lot of these theme pop-up bars before, and this was sort of a theme bar before those were even cool and in vogue, Peter. And welcome to NOLA Outsider. I'm Chris, along with just Peter tonight. Justin's on assignment. But we're going to be talking about maybe the diviest dive bar in the French Quarter, at least in New Orleans, the Boondock Saint. And Peter, I know as a cop, you know all about the movie, 1999 classic, cult classic, not really a commercial classic at the time, but cult classic, the Boondock Saints. And so this is a bar that obviously those who started it were a big fan of.
Absolutely. And yeah, that is a true cult classic in all the right ways. William Dafoe steals the show in that movie.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, does a great job. And I just want to say right off the bat about Boondock Saint. As we're recording this night, it's a good, healthy summer rainstorm going on outside. And Boondock Saint is the kind of place where you could just sit all day as in the New Orleans rain, because when it rains down there, it rains a lot. And you'd be like, you know what? It's still raining. I'm just going to continue to sit here at the bar and have another drink.
Yeah, it's funny. As we were preparing for this, I have so many angles on this that are interesting to me. First of all, I didn't even know what the Boondock Saint was, and we had a couple of our friends there texting us from that. That's the first time I ever heard of the Boondock Saint. Also, I've met the current owner of the bar at the St. Patty's Day pub crawl, and she was awesome. And just reading about everyone's sort of take on it, how it's a stone's throw from Preservation Hall and Bourbon Street. You know, it's half a block away from Bourbon Street up the side there on St. Peter. But it's a bar that super homey. I mean, we just went there, so that's why I wanted to hit this. Me, you, Garrett, and our friend Travis all went there when we went to our trip recently to New Orleans, and not our first time there, but it's one of those like cool. I dive bar in the most positive way is what I mean by that. It's you walk in and it's like you've been there 100 times. It's a comfortable chair. You just like going in there and having a good time. I did want to tell you. I know I've told you this story before, probably, but our friend Travis, this is one of his favorites to tell, and it's a good one. I enjoy this story, but the first time I ever heard about the Boondock Saint, our friends Travis and Sarah were there, and in his words, they had drank a shit ton of Guinness, and while they were there, I happened to be on my anniversary dinner with my wife at the now defunct Webster House in Kansas City. And I don't know what we just started texting each other back and forth. So they're drinking down at the Boondock Saint, telling us it's about this bar. They loved it. They had spent most of the time in the big bar area that they have. When I say big, it's not that big, but the bigger room of the two. And in the back was this other sort of like a little like sequestered little enclave back there. I don't know. It's like it's like a 7-foot square like room in the back that's sort of separate, with the way was constructed many years ago.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's like 4 people can sit in there. It's about what you can get comfortable.
Yeah, it's basically like if you have a group and you just want a little bit more privacy while you're drinking and having fun there, that you get a little bit more there. But so they were back there. And they were telling us about this bar, and we're texting back and forth, having a good time as we're all imbibing. And I don't know what he said. They were playing the Animal House soundtrack at the Boondock Saint, which if you've ever been there, it makes complete sense that they would pick that random. They have like great jukebox there, so it's a random songs and that they would be playing. And of course, I'm starting saying, "Well, there's a table over there. Why don't you, pick it up and act like the scene where they're in the club in the movie, and it's like, do you mind if we dance with your dates?" And so the next picture I get is of our friend Travis picking up the table. He's a power lifter. He was picking up the table and showing us that as they were laughing, and we were just going back and forth. But I was like, oh, we need to see this bar. Okay, and he's told me the story how they drank a ton of Guinness. They left for a while. I think they went to Preservation Hall. And then they came back and drank more Guinness, went back the next day, and the bartender remembered them and told them how much Guinness they had drank. So that was the first impression I got of this bar. And so when I went down there, of course, I was like, well, I love, I don't know too many bars named after a television show or a movie. I just had one of my friends went to Aruba recently, and he got me a shirt from the Sopranos bar down there, which I was like, I assume Aruba still has international copyright laws. I don't know if they pay somebody some money for that, but it is the logo and everything. But this is the Boondock Saint, which I was like, oh, this movie's great. I wonder what the connection is, if they're just fans or whatever. So we go down there, and lo and behold, one of the televisions that they have in there, which is, again, a dive bar. So these TVs are not like the fancy new 95-inch, inch thick TVs. These are older TVs that they have up there, mostly sports, but one is always looping the original Boondock Saint movie. So, I mean, it's that alone is worth the price of admission, because at any point you just walk in there and just pick it up, because I've done that many times with that movie.
Yep. That in will suck you in a second.
It will. But, I don't know. When you go in this place, it's like I said, I was talking with Travis earlier, and he's like, it's the biggest dive bar of all the dive bars. And I'm sure there are some like way more treacherous dive bars outside the French Quarter. But Peter, what do you think? I mean, this place, it reminds me a little bit of Aaron Rose. It's very sort of slender, like most of them are there. I mean, like Fritzl's is similar in a way. I mean, Fritzl's might be a little wider, but you walk in and the bar's to your right down the entire side, and there's some seating on down the left, the little room in the back, and that's about it.
That is it. It's a very straightforward, very Irish bar. It's simple. It's pretty. For not being a very wide room, like I said, which is pretty much everything down there in the quarter, it's fairly open. It feels open, feels welcoming. But there's just there's decor, but it's a very basic. It's a room. You walk in there, there's no band, there's no nothing, and great bartenders, everything else. It is almost directly across door to door to Preservation Hall, and it's it's surrounded by the oversized beer, super loud, bright light bars, and then there's Boondock Saint, and you kind of have to step up. I think it's 2 or 3 steps to get into Boondock, so it makes it feel a little bit more closed off. You're like 100%. You're like, is it open? No, the door's open. You walk in there, and it's dark, so until you get in, you can't see exactly what's going on. But again, there always feel welcome in there. Very comfortable. Whether it's I've been in there when it's packed, and I've been in there when it's like 3 people in the middle of the afternoon.
Sure.
And good drinks. It's everything you're looking for. And it almost feels something like it just that whole thing of like you would miss it if you didn't know you were looking for it, which is I think what they go for.
And totally, that's a great interpretation of it, because in fact I do think I think a lot, you hear about it, and a lot of the locals go there after their shifts. A lot of people go in there that are from the area, not just touristy stuff. And it's true. If you're stumbling off of Bourbon Street going down St. Peter towards Decatur, and you you blink, you're going to miss the shutters that sort of outline the door of the place, because, they might have a little sign with a cutesy saying out there. Like I've seen one that says Irish daycare. They've had other things like that. But if you would blink and you would just think it's either someone's house or just, I don't know, like you can miss it very easily. It's not pizzazzed up on the outside. And I think that's the way they like it. I think the people that go there, that's the way they like it. So, when you walk in, of course, with the Boondock Saints being the way it is a very pro-cop bar. Now, when you look into the history of this place, it was owned by a couple of cops. Since then, one of the cop owners passed away not very old. He passed away a few years back, right before, I think 2019 is what I remember. So, and he wasn't an old guy. So I'm not really sure how he passed away, but his wife, Beth, I don't know if she has full interest, just controlling interest or what, but she is the one that I've met several years now on the limo pub crawl tour. And she's a super awesome lady and speaks highly, obviously, of her deceased husband and how much he loved this bar. And she just essentially just seemed like she could not give it, she couldn't get rid of it because it had meant so much to their family and how much he loved it. And you can tell when you walk in, they obviously love the movie. There's stuff on the walls, not a ton, but enough sort of movie type memorabilia stuff that reminds you of why, you like the name. They actually, I'm one of the guys that loves like buying merchandise at these kind of places. So I always look for, like shirts, hoodies, anything that I can wear like here that makes me remind myself that I miss New Orleans. So they're one of the few bars that I found in the French Quarter that actually do a relatively decent amount of merch. I mean, they have hoodies and shirts and, they're always sort of every once in a while they'll drop something new. And I'm like, it's cool. I mean, it's not like it's obviously a mom and pop place. It's not one of these manufactured, they're doing this all in their own dime, which in my own company, I do that too. So I appreciate it. And when you walk in, Peter, they have like, I think a lot of bars do it, but they have like the largest collection of police patches I've seen.
Yeah. They're all tacked up on the rafters.
Yeah.
You have to look in there, and some of them have been there from day one, so they're getting kind of dingy, and you have to know, you got to know patches from different cities and different states to recognize some of them.
Yeah, no, it's they're adorning all the at the top. They have like every rafter has sort of like a street sign up there, like St. Peter and Decatur and all of them, St. Anne, all that, and then they have all the patches lining that at the top, these are the things that I love about like for example, my place is a winery here. So, just because my parents are involved, like I could never fully make my place into a dive winery, even though I would probably do that just making it like this kind of stuff. I would have like a patch collection. And of course, I've already started to take over some of it with pictures and stuff of stuff I like, autographs and stuff. But like if I had a dive bar, this is exactly how I would decorate it. Like it's just random stuff that I love and just other random stuff, because I think when I go into a place to drink, I don't know if you feel this way, when I go into a place to drink like this, especially down in New Orleans, I love seeing like, I don't know, just random crap all over the walls, because I am, when you're drinking and you're going to sit for a while, I just like to be interested in stuff that's around. I can't really stand like a really clean nothing place. And so this is how I would this is close to how I'd probably decorate a dive bar. It really is.
Yeah. No, that's great. There's a bar in Little Rock, Arkansas, famous blues bar, went down to, and they're up above the bar, there's a painting of a guy dressed naked, but with a matador hat on, fighting a bull. And the whole backstory is he started a bar fight in that bar one night and he got kicked out. And he made a deal with the owners that the only way he could get back in is if he painted them a new painting, because the old painting got broke during the bar fight. So he painted himself as a matador in a bullfight. And that's up there, and that's great. And that's the stuff that makes bars like that just amazing, because you're just like, there's a random picture. You have there's no context to the picture. So yeah, I agree with you. That's what I love to see in bars.
Well, that's what we do. Like when we get into a bar, whether it be Fritzel's or here or Molly's or wherever, you get a couple drinks down, you start looking around like, hey, what's that? Oh, that's the remains of the past owner's dead ashes.
Yes.
This, you find out this kind of stuff, and this is Boondock Saint is totally up that alley.
Yeah.
Something else
if you
I
didn't
love
know about the movie and everything, you'd be like, why is that movie on? Because it just restarted, and then you realize it's on all the time.
I didn't even look this time. It makes me laugh because, now we live in the streaming age. I'm like, how is this contract? So they bought this in like 06, I think, is when they took over this bar.
I think so, yeah.
So right after Katrina, right? So I'm like, is that looped on a DVD that they just have repeat? Do they have it on streaming now? Because obviously when they started this thing, it was not streaming quite yet. But yeah, it's just I've been to other bars where they'll have stuff on loop somewhere. You know, they're not usually named after the movie. In fact, that was one thing I was wondering. I'm like, I wonder if they have to pay any kind of like. I wonder if they were ever worried about some copyright thing, right? I mean, this is why I'm married to a lawyer. I think about dumb crap like this. I'm like, you know, like when I name wines or when I name stuff in my own business, I'm like, you know, what if I wanted to make the Boondock Saint wine? You know, I mean, like, is anyone out there going to go after me? So I was curious if they ever had any kind of connection, and I never have heard either way how this came about. You know, whether they just, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to start the Blues Brothers bar, I couldn't do that, right? But maybe Boondock Saint is that big of a sort of a under the radar type, you know, who's going to go after me type of movie. I don't know, but
I think they got to know about it. I mean, it's popular enough. The bar is popular enough that somebody connected to the movie would have to know about it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a good mystery. Leave it at that.
Well, I mean,
the only way that would be better about the looping is if it was still on a original like VHS.
Just take a couple minutes to rewind before it restarts again.
Yeah.
I think like you know, look, I think it's like the Boondock Saints. I celebrate the entire catalog. So I love the first one. The second one I thought was okay. It's not nearly as good as the first, but I mean, anytime you bring Billy Connolly back to play the bad, you know, well, he ends up being a good guy. But first, when you think he's going to be a bad guy to kill everybody, but then he ends up being, you know, a good guy. But they reunite everybody that's still alive. And I thought it was okay, and Defoe's in that one too at the very end. And there's big rumors that a third one's going to be made, but I've heard that for years, and I have no idea if that. I mean, people are getting old here. People, well, let's go. Yeah. If it's going to happen, let's do it. But also, you know, like I enjoy like I also watched the documentary of the guy that wrote the film, that wrote the first Boondock Saint. He wrote both, I believe, but. He was just a bartender somewhere in Boston, I think, wrote the screenplay to Boondock Saint. And I think I told you this, but like this documentary came out just about him. So I'm like, what's this about? Then I found out all about him. He was a guy that wrote the screenplay. He was sort of a jerk. Like he got Harvey Weinstein, you know, pre Me Too movement. He was the guy that was going to give him money off this because they really liked the screenplay. They were going to put $20 million behind it, a big budget for a kid off the streets in Boston that's bouncing. And I guess long story short, it went to his head and like it got flushed away. A couple years later, someone made it, but way less budget. And it was way under the radar. And since then it's become a cult classic. But this documentary is about him and sort of like his fall from grace after getting this chance. And he also had a band. And one of the things that he sort of dealt with Harvey Weinstein is like, I want my band to also be signed. And that was going to be done before this all crumbled. But it was like members of his band are the ones that put out this documentary that's pretty negative about him. So it was interesting inside of the mind of I think we can all relate to that. If any of us wanted to be in the movies or whatever, if any of us thought we were good enough to write a screenplay, how would we react if like one of the biggest Hollywood moguls came and gave us $20 million? Would you? Well, I would like to think I'd be like, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. You know, or would it somehow affect you and think like, well, if I can get this, then maybe I can get this, you know, but there's so many thoughts I have about that movie and just the whole thing when I just hear about this name.
Yeah, it's a fascinating history to the whole movie. And then I just like that somebody decided that it was good enough to open a bar.
I know. And the one of the best things about this, like being a dive bar, is like if you look up the Boondock Saint, you will find a Facebook page that they will randomly update, you know, with pictures of the bartender with patrons or whatever. But there's no website. Like we can't be bothered with that. There's nothing official necessarily anywhere except the Facebook page, which I understand is enough for most. But like there's very little information about the Boondock Saint. But that's official anyway. And
we've been referring to it as a dive bar in a good way, and it is. Mm-hmm. But great drinks. Like you're not drinking all well, limited choice, everything else. They got a nice bar, good choices, good selection of bourbon and scotch. They got good selection of gins and everything else. So you can sit there and have a nice cocktail also, or there's plenty of selections of things if you're drinking straight.
Yeah, so they don't have, much like a lot of these bars in the French Quarter, no food. Okay, you can't order. They have nothing. There's not a bag of chips to be bought. Like you eat and then come in there. I have no idea. People have asked me like, can you take a sandwich into there, or like Fritzels or Boondock? I have no idea what they're. I've never tried that, so I don't. Do you know anything about that? I have no idea what would happen if you brought food in like that.
I don't know. I have to ask next time we're down there. Ask Errol.
Yeah,
he'll know. But
well, he'd probably.
Remember, they used to have chips and stuff at Fritzels.
They did.
Yeah, a long time ago, he had them up on that pillar. They would, you'd get a bag of chips.
That must have been the previous regime.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. But we used to smoke there too. They sell cigarettes. Sure. So, but yeah, it's such a cool place. And like this last trip that we went, I don't know if Garrett had ever gone there. Obviously, Travis had, you and I. But this last time, it was on one of those days when we were just sort of stumbling around, going into some new place, not new, but different places than our normal perch. And going in there this time, I had a really good time. The bartender was great. I think that was on. I mean, we go on the off days, so that was like Tuesday, maybe. I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday.
I think so, yeah.
And one of my favorite gimmicks they had there. First of all, the drinks are cheap, like relatively speaking, for the French Quarter. Like I sent some friends down there. I get in trouble all the time. I'll send people down to New Orleans and like, hey, you'll have a great time. But they're, and they're the people that will be like, I like the $3 beers at the winery. Okay. So then they'll go down there and Fritzels, like you'll get 2 beers and they'll be like $20, please. And I'm like, okay, yes, you're going to have to find your bar that has your drink. That's not like super expensive if you're going to like double fist beers all day. But this is the place, this is one of the places you could probably do that. One of the gimmicks that they had though, that I loved was we made our friend Travis do the 3 mystery shots.
And by made, you mean, hey, Travis, look, they have mystery shots.
Hey, they're $1 each. I will buy you all 3. I will go out of my way to spend all that money on $1 shots of all 3. So, so that I thought this was great. I thought it was that so obviously they want to clean out some liquor, right? I would assume that's what I would do. I mean, like, I don't need to get rid of it.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're in like, like brown paper sacks taped at the top with just the pour on top. So, and then one's like number 1, number 2, number 3. And so we got one of each. And of course, like when you try to guess, you're like, hey, bartender, is it this? She's like, I don't really know. I don't know. So I think that's a lie. She probably well knows that you're drinking like whatever it was, coffee, liqueur, and whatever else we thought he was drinking. But I mean, how many places are you going to be able to have that kind of high quality entertainment for $3?
I think she didn't know only because it's one of those places that it's just whoever tapes up the bottles is the one who actually knows.
That's true. Yes.
And they just don't care enough to figure it out. So if she didn't tape up the bottles, she's like, yeah, I don't know. No clue. No one knows. No one will ever know.
Yeah. So looking at the ownership, it was started. The primary owner was Peter Daniel Bowen. So he's a retired New Orleans Police Department sergeant, 33 years of service, transitioned into bar ownership, took the helm, and but passed away in April of 2019. And his wife Beth is awesome. I don't really know how often Beth is there. I think she's there quite a bit, but she's just like a sweetheart of a lady. I don't really know how old she is. She's older than me, but I don't know by how much. But she's obviously one of those people, much like the Monahans with Molly's, and it has a lot of similarities like Molly's and Aaron Rose to me, this bar. If you like that kind of vibe, sort of super laid back dive bar, that's what this is. And so she seems like a type of person that everyone in the city knows. She's involved a ton civically with like, everyone's, either bar crawl or, festivals or whatever. I'm sure she's one of the people that they reach out to be involved because she seems like that's her life now. And I think that's super cool. I would, in some days, I'd like to trade my life with that. That'd be fun. But yeah, he was. So when he passed away, I guess she took it over, and like I said, I think we were talking with her a little bit about it, and it was just too much of an identity with her husband and just them to give it away yet. So I think it's cool. I don't know, if anything happens to her, if it will, obviously things change, they'll rename it, whatever. But I don't know. For the time being, if you have a chance to go down to New Orleans and you want to just sort of a cool hangout bar, outside of our other ones that we always talk about, like Fritzl's and Molly's, this is right up there. And I didn't really see Peter. I can't really tell you if they have like a specialty drink or anything, like Molly's has, or something that Errol has his Hurricane or the Bloody Mary, but I'm not really sure what they have there because frankly I have sort of a small amount of different things that I try at bars, but I don't know. Did you see anything there that was out of the ordinary?
No, I'm not aware of them having a house cocktail or drink that they serve, but that's okay because, like I said, they got a good selection overall.
Yeah,
it is. I've been there in the wintertime, been there in the summertime. Comfortable either way. It's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer. It's the kind of place, like I said, you just want to sit down at the bar and you're going to be happy to sit there. You can see out the door and see with life going by, and you're like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just continue to sit here. As we talk about in many of these places, the bathrooms are about what you expect in a bar like this.
Hey, look, Fritzl's is updating. So Boondock Saint, you never know. One day we'll walk in there and they'll also have those Greek tile bathroom walls. I mean, I didn't think that was possible at Fritzl's. So, it's a
trend.
It's a one-personer, that's for sure. It's not exactly something that you're not going to have friends in the bathroom with you. That's for sure. No. They're small.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I'm looking at their menu. I guess they are known for basically what Fritzl's are known for. They're known for their Bloody Marys and their Hurricanes, which is right up my alley. I don't think I had a Hurricane there. I don't remember. I think I had like a rum and Coke or something. I would stay on the rum train. Maybe I should have gone after a Hurricane. But they say that they rate higher than those around them, which what's really close to them is Pat O'Brien's. And I know it's an iconic place. I get it. I am not a fan of their Hurricanes, so I already know theirs are better.
Yeah. Yep. No, 100% agree with that. Never been impressed with Pat O'Brien's Hurricanes.
Yeah, awesome layout, and we should talk about that one day because that is like a classic New Orleans French Quarter place, Pat O'Brien's. It's you gotta have there's a lot of classic places and cities that I'm like, oh, I totally bow down to the history of this place, but I don't necessarily, it's not really my hangout, and that's how I am with Pat O'Brien's. But yeah, the Boondock Saint. If you love the movie, you'll like the vibe of the bar. If you love the movie, you're already going to like the bar because the bar is it's not exactly like the bar that gets torn up by, Russian mobsters at the beginning of Boondock Saint. It's not exactly like that, but it's as close as you're going to get. And by the way, did you know that the bartender in Boondock Saints was the old man from Fraggle Rock? Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay. Well, there's some trivia for you, man. Yes, the guy that has Tourette's that is screaming, every curse word in Boondock Saint was the man that had a fake dog that was dealing with Fraggles on Fraggle Rock on HBO when I was a child. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But he was also, I think he might have been in the second one too, but I can't remember. There was the only one that didn't really make it to the second one was even their dead friend showed up in the second one in a flashback scene.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But anyway, I think it's cool. I love Boondock Saint. The atmosphere is laid back. The movie's playing all the time. And if you have any kind, it is it is an Irishy bar. So if you like any of that, they got the Guinness there. It is. I don't know. I think it's like Fritzl's, Molly's, and Boondock Saint. Those three bars, I could only go to those three bars when I'm in New Orleans, and I would be completely fine.
I 100% agree that those are definitely my top three choices of bars. There's a couple other places, that have served great cocktails that are restaurants. Sure. A little bit different story. Their bar, the bar at those restaurants, that's a different story. But if you're just talking straight bar, no food, place to hang out, super comfortable, they're going to welcome you in, whether you're a local, industry, or tourist, definitely.
Yeah,
all three of those just tremendous places.
They all three stood the test of time too. Now, granted, this was technically started after Katrina, but since then we've had this little thing called COVID, and Johnny White's went out after that. And it's like, okay, how many of these all-time dive bars are going to be able to hang out? Aaron Rose is another classic one. But I mean, Boondock Saint is in that little nucleus of these bars that, I don't know, like I could go there every time, be happy. And, like I said, check them out on Facebook, look up Boondock Saint. They have, they put a lot of stuff up there if they have like new merch or if they have any kind of, they're involved a lot, like I said, with civic stuff, like some kind of festivals or some kind of, they might be a place that people stop after a parade or something. And they always post about that. So I always like to keep up on what's going on. So check it out. I loved it. And Peter, I know we will be there next time we go.
Absolutely. And before we wrap this up, I just want to bring up a contentious issue that I re-inflamed the bigger conversation.
Okay.
Someone else who loves New Orleans just as much as we do, that has a YouTube channel, did some reviews of muffaladas around the city, and also agreed that a hot muffalata is better than a cold, and that in his rating, which he did a very good job of why he rated things the way he rated them, he did not place Central Groceries first.
In fact, Central Grocery there might have been last.
I believe so. Yeah. I
mean, it was either last or second to last. And I'm trying to think of how it ended up at the end of it all. But yeah, look, Peter has sent me, and obviously there's a lot of people who do this kind of stuff. Like a guy goes around and reviews as Peter said, a lot of the places we love, this guy goes to. So I think how we haven't run into him is weird. But yes, he, of people that want to talk about muffaletas and who's got the best one, we always talk about, but he went to like about 5 or 6 places. And in fact, of course, I'm a big champion of Napoleon House, and that's a hot muffaletta. Central Grocery, the standard bearer, because it was first, I guess, is cold, but he didn't have either of those at the top. He put Verdi Mart's really high, which is, I mean, look, I love that because I love Verdi Mart and I love the history of us going there. Our personal history of Verdi Mart is one of my favorite places down there, whether it's pouring wine into water bottles or, almost getting jacked at like 3 a.m. There's stuff.
Many stories.
We always have a lot of stories there. But yeah, like of all the, I always usually get the All That Jazz or something else. But I have gotten the muffaletta there before, and maybe, like I told you, maybe I just haven't been fair because a Verdi Mart muffaletta usually comes at about 2 or 3 a.m. And that is not probably the best culinary time to start testing things with the most sensitive palate in your head. So, but look, also hot at muffaletta at Verdi Mart. So, yeah. So Garrett, you're wrong.
Yeah. Just saying, it's just not us. It's other people also.
It's locals. Anyway, thanks for listening to NOLA Outsider. We enjoy Boondock Saint, and we know you will too if you have if you're laid back and not some uppity person, which, you're probably not if you're listening to this. So check it out next time you are in New Orleans. Justin will be joining us next time. We're going to be talking about another awesome place that we enjoy going to, whether it's a restaurant, a bar, a museum, an experience, whatever. We'll be back here on NOLA Outsider. So for Peter, I am Chris. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the NOLA Outsider podcast. We'd love to hear about your experiences in the greatest city in the world. Email us at outsidernola@gmail.com. Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/NOLA Outsider or visit NOLAOutsider.com. See you next time on NOLA Outsider.